Picture your pantry in February. Outside, the ground is frozen solid. The farmer's market shut down months ago. You haven't set foot in the produce aisle in weeks. And none of that matters, because dinner is already sitting on a shelf 3 feet from your kitchen, sweet and ready, exactly where you left it back in the fall. That's not a fantasy. That's what one afternoon of planting in the heat of August can buy you. 8 months of meals, and not one jar canned, not one bag frozen. Here's the promise. By the time we're through, you'll know exactly what to plant, how to plant it this late in the season, and how to make it last clear into March without a single trip to the freezer. And here's what's at stake if you skip this one. You'll be standing in that same produce aisle all winter, paying more for less, while the people who did this in August are eating for free. So stick around. The crop is winter squash, and butternut is the one worth clearing space for. That tan, bell-shaped squash you already recognize from the grocery store. The name throws people off every time. Winter squash, they hear, and picture growing something in the snow. You don't. You grow it in the heat, same as anything else in a summer garden. It earns the name winter squash for what happens after you pick it. It keeps. Set it on a shelf, and it will still be good when the snow is a foot deep outside. That's the whole mechanism behind feeding a household for 8 months off one planting. Most vegetables give you a window of days before they're done, unless you can them or freeze them yourself. Butternut asks none of that. Cured properly and kept in the right spot, a single squash holds for months without any processing at all. No jars, no freezer, no fuss. Grow a batch in the summer, stack it in the fall, and eat off that stack straight through winter. You'd think August is too late. Most of the garden is already winding down, and it's the hottest, least inviting stretch of the year to be out there with a trowel. But there are real reasons this timing works in your favor, not against you. First, squash seed thrives in hot soil. Push a seed into August dirt and it's up and growing within days. None of the slow stalled sprouting you'd fight in cooler spring ground. Second, this is exactly when your garden opens up. Peas are finished. Early lettuce is bolted. Garlic's already out of the ground. All that empty space that would otherwise sit bare through the fall is exactly where a squash plant wants to go. And third, there's a quiet advantage specific to butternut that most gardeners never hear about. Unlike many other squash, butternut has a dense, nearly solid stem, which makes it naturally tough against the one pest that wrecks a lot of home gardens, the squash vine borer. Other squash varieties are especially vulnerable to that pest early in the season, so late planting is often recommended purely as a workaround for them. Butternut doesn't need that workaround nearly as badly. Its own stem does most of the defending. Plant it in August and you're stacking one more advantage on top of a crop that was already built to handle it. Now, a straight answer on feasibility, because this matters. Butternut needs roughly 90 to 100 days of warm weather from seed to a ripe squash. Count backward from your first expected fall frost. If your frost doesn't arrive until late October or November, an August planting gives you all the runway you need. No adjustments required. If your frost tends to show up earlier than that, you have 2 moves. Reach for one of the faster maturing butternut varieties. Check the seed packet for its days to maturity number and do the math for your zone. Or start seed indoors in small pots a couple of weeks before your August planting date. Then set the young transplants out to buy yourself extra time. Squash roots don't love being disturbed, so handle the move gently, but done carefully, it works. As for the planting itself, give it full sun, 6 to 8 hours minimum. Work compost into the spot first, since this is a hungry plant, and give it room. These vines can ramble 10 to 15 feet, so either let them sprawl or train them up a sturdy trellis if space is tight. Poke a few seeds about an inch deep into small mounds, spaced 3 to 4 feet apart. Water them in, and in warm soil you'll see sprouts within a week. Once they're established, thin each mound down to the 2 strongest plants. From there, it's mostly hands-off. Water deep and steady, more during heat waves. The leaves may wilt dramatically in afternoon sun and look half dead. As long as they recover by evening, that's normal, not a problem. Squash relies on bees to carry pollen between its separate male and female flowers, so plant a few blooming flowers nearby and skip anything that would kill the bees off. Lots of blossoms but no fruit forming? Hand pollinate with a small paintbrush some morning. A dusty white film on the leaves late in the season is just powdery mildew, and by then the plant has usually already set its fruit. You'll know it's ready once the skin has turned a deep solid tan with no green left, and it's gone hard to the touch. Press a thumbnail into it. If it dents, give it more time. If your nail barely marks it, it's done. A dry, corky brown stem is another reliable sign. Get everything harvested before the first hard frost, since a freeze will shorten its storage life. Cut it free with a couple of inches of stem attached, but never lift or carry it by that stem. If it snaps, the open wound rots in storage. Handle every squash gently. Today's small bruise is next month's soft spot. Then comes curing, the step that decides how long this actually lasts. Set the squash somewhere warm and dry for about 7 to 10 days. A sunny windowsill, a warm porch, anywhere the heat collects. That toughens the skin, seals over small nicks, and sweetens the flesh. After that, move everything to a cool, dry, dark space with a little airflow, ideally 50 to 60 degrees. A basement, a closet, an unheated back room. Give each one space so they aren't touching, and never put them in the fridge. It's too cold and too damp, and they'll break down instead of keeping. Handled this way, a properly cured butternut typically holds 4 to 6 months in good condition. Not every squash keeps equally well, so it's worth knowing the differences. Butternut is the long-term keeper. Hubbard holds a similarly long while, though it grows large enough to need real storage space. Spaghetti squash lasts a decent stretch, a few weeks to a couple of months. Acorn and delicata are excellent eating but poor keepers. Good for a few weeks at most, so eat those first and save the butternuts for the long haul into late winter. Here's the part worth sitting with. Most of us have absorbed the idea that fresh food is fragile by nature, that anything worth eating spoils within days, unless it's trucked in, wrapped in plastic, and kept cold the entire way. That belief is exactly why people end up back in the same aisle every single week, buying the same squash at a price that rarely goes down. A shelf of properly cured butternut quietly proves that belief wrong. No refrigerated truck, no plastic, no weekly trip. Just a plant, a patch of dirt, and months of food that never left your own property. Growing this yourself is one small, concrete way to step outside that weekly cycle. And once you've stood in your own pantry in the dead of winter, looking at squash you grew with your own hands, going back to buying it feels like a step backward. So, the short version, the crop is winter squash, butternut specifically. Planted in August, in full sun and rich soil with room to spread or a trellis to climb. Keep it watered, let the bees do their work, and bring it in before frost once the skin's gone hard. Cure it warm for about a week and a half, store it cool and dark, and it will carry you clear through winter and into March. Clear the spot today. Get the seed into the ground. The rest, believe it or not, takes care of itself.